This is The Wheel Weaves, a Wheel of Time podcast with no spoilers. Hey everyone, I'm your host Dani, and I'm the first-time reader going through this series chapter by chapter. As always, there's no spoilers past the chapter we're covering, and that means it's totally safe for first-time readers. I'm joined by my co-host Brett, who's a longtime fan, and he's guiding me on this journey. We'd like to thank and acknowledge our executive producers, Brandy and Kirkwood, Sean McGuire, Yanis, LightBlindedFool, Green Man, Deyvis Ferreira, Margaret, Big C, Bennett Williamson, Dylan C, Hannah Green, Noralia, Jordan Gower, and Geof Searles. And before we get into things today, we just want to thank and welcome Ryan LaFond to the Wheel Weaves Patreon team. Thank you so much for your generosity and your support. We really, truly appreciate it. In this episode, we're talking about Chapter 30 of Knife of Dreams.
Yeah, Chapter 30 is Outside the Gates.
Welcome, Tyler.
Yep.
Okay, Tyler's here.
Yeah, well, for the record, we've been sitting here for about half an hour playing with the noise levels.
Well, we had to make sure everything sounds good. We have an extra body in
That's
the room.
true. I just
gotta get it right.
The chapter title is sounding weird to me now because I've said Outside the Gates about 32 times.
How about we change the title to See You Never, Shido?
Boom, done. They're gone.
See
They're
ya.
gone. We did
Or,
it.
This is finally over, hopefully.
Yeah, no kidding.
Now, what I can say is that the Battle of Malden is officially over.
Okay.
Yeah, like we don't really know exactly what's going to happen next, but
that's true.
we're at the end of a book.
Yeah.
Typically,
and
plot lines wrap up.
Goodbye to some people.
Yep.
Yep.
In different ways.
In different ways. I was wondering why you were pressing me so much last time on who's going to kick it, who's going to make it through this battle, and I didn't really give you very much.
And to be fair, some things would be probably worse than just dying on the battlefield.
And we're talking about like a chapter 30 conclusion as well, where you're probably not personally expecting a ton of deaths and resolutions at chapter 30 when you know that there's a few more, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought this is the wrap up for this plot line, this book.
Yeah,
I don't think we're returning to
this is it.
To Perrin and Faile, no.
No, I'd say so. Yeah, I mean, you've got the Shanshan who attacked the town from one side, meeting up with Perrin, who was in the other side of the town. That's a good sign that he's probably...
Yeah, it's over.
They probably did it.
It's pretty much done. We got a nice little wrap up at the end, which we'll talk about.
Yeah, I guess so. Okay.
All right, now we're all waiting with bated breath for this fun fact, Brett.
I don't even know if I want to... You guys are being super negative about it, but...
What?
Okay.
No, do a fun fact.
Okay.
A real fun.
All right, so the Battle of Malden in Wheel of Time presumably takes its name from the historical Battle of Malden, but Malden is spelt with an O in real life, and in Wheel of Time it's spelt with an E.
Like Maldon.
Maldon. Sure, if that's how you want to pronounce it.
Fantasy
Not-
Malden.
Maldon.
Maldon.
Okay.
Exactly. So that battle, though, was fought between Viking raiders and an English militia on the banks of the River Blackwater near the town of Malden in 991. Now, little else connects the two because, like, exactly what happened in the Battle of Malden to what happened in the Battle of Malden, very different.
Yeah.
So apparently at Maldon, the forces were small, and as the story goes, which apparently is disputed by historians, like everything is, the leader of the English allowed the Vikings to pass freely across the ford so that the two forces could fight on land.
I think you mean fjord.
Fjord?
No.
Depends who you ask.
Yeah. Mhm.
Pretty sure it was just a ford.
I'm going with the frozen pronunciation.
Sure, with there's no J in it, though. Anyway,
Oh.
The important part is the English invited the Vikings over and then promptly lost the battle.
Oh, no.
See, but the tactical battle of the Battle of Malden in Wheel of Time, apparently it matches one of the most famous battles in history called the Battle of Cannae from the Second Punic War in 216 BCE.
And no actual fjords. That's different.
No,
That's
yeah.
a different thing completely.
So,
Yeah,
my bad.
Can we pause? Did you think my last name was Honey Fjord?
Yeah.
just how I'm saying it, right?
Here.
That's my bad. Sorry. I'm listening. I promise. Okay.
Okay, so I looked it up because you're still pretty stuck on this whole
I'm
ford and
not
fjord
at
thing.
all. I'm not. I believe you.
Okay, so
I misheard.
a ford is a shallow area in a river or stream that can be crossed by wading across it.
Yep. Mhm.
A fjord is a long, narrow inlet with steep sides or cliffs.
Oh.
So ford and fjord, different things.
Different things. And I was thinking more like,
Yeah.
Nordic.
Yeah.
I just thought it was the same thing, but pronounced differently. And like, they're two different things?
Yeah, so different things. So the whole point of the actual Battle of Malden.
Well, no, that was a great fun fact about forage.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. So the English let the Vikings wade across the water so they could have a land battle, and then the English lost to the Vikings. So it's like, maybe don't let your enemy come and fight you in a land battle. I don't know what to...
Yeah, okay.
That's not the point of this. The point is
that's it? Fun facts done?
Almost done.
No, we were talking about the Second Punic War.
Yeah, the Second Punic War. So that's the Battle of Cannae, which is what the tactical battle of the Battle of Malden and Wheel of Time is based on. I'm not going to go into it, but basically the Carthaginian army of Hannibal completely overwhelmed and defeated a much larger Roman army on Italian soil, and it was the largest army the Romans had ever assembled. So it was a smaller force defeating a larger force, which is kind of what Perrin does with the Shido. So good for them.
And did they also drug most of the attackers?
Well, there's no magic users from what I could tell, but again, this battle is also disputed by historians, so like maybe there was.
If I remember correctly, Hannibal had the medieval equivalent of magic, which was elephants.
No, I'm going to not fact check that at all, and I'm going to say yes.
Okay, and now we're done?
You know what? Let's call it done.
Good.
Okay. There is more. There's a lot more.
I believe you. You know what?
Yeah.
I believe you.
I think it's pronounced Dion.
Okay.
That's
Can we
the
start
Yates.
this episode? We've been trying to start this episode.
It's been an hour.
It's
been an hour.
We already need a drink refill.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can tell, but here we go.
Let's do
Ready?
this. Let's at least get into it.
Let's do it. So
Yeah.
this is chapter 30. Outside the gates, we get the chapter symbol of the Aiel shield and spears. And I wrote in my notes, we rescue Faile, and this is finally over.
It is.
This ends finally.
Oh, we're done. We
Yeah.
just did the whole episode. That was great.
Yeah, we did it.
Mm-hmm. Now,
I have a question for you. Do you remember when this started?
Oh,
Yeah, that's the question.
Path of Daggers.
This was the cliffhanger for Path of Daggers,
Yeah.
Book 8.
Nice.
And
Yeah.
now we're at the end of Book 11.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to guess book 2.
Yeah.
So you're
Well,
closer to
I
me.
didn't say what it feels like.
Yeah. Although, if we're talking about the Shido as a plot
That's
device,
true. That's true.
we're talking like book 4 or 5?
Yeah, well, we've
End
heard...
of book 4, they start rumbling.
Yeah.
But yeah, payoff wise.
Oh, the end of book 4
Yeah.
is the
Couladin
dragons
controversy
on the arms,
The
right?
controversy. Yeah.
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 And then the middle of book 5 is the Couladin dies and the Shido suck.
And Savannah takes over.
Right.
Yeah.
So really, this has been going on for a very long time.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't talk about it, but I actually think Couladin was right the whole time and that
You
Rand is
do,
the imposter.
huh?
Yeah.
Well,
Couladin's
obviously.
I wasn't on that
sympathizer.
episode, but yeah.
Mm.
now that you have, you can
Mhm.
I
say
can
it.
finally
Okay.
air that out.
Yeah.
Now, I do want to say before we get started, because I don't really have a chance to talk about this, but I really am still incredulous of the entire fact that Galina just had this perfect setup for this, like, push a beam over, and the whole building collapses
The lever
perfectly
situation.
on the stairs.
You
Yeah.
just don't understand architecture.
You never played Jenga?
The whole thing just falls down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I was super incredulous that she could even do this without the power. That's why I originally assumed it was the
Yeah.
power.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, well, no, it's pretty clear it's not the power at all. But then I still don't think that this could have been done.
Yeah, no, it's not incredibly well justified.
So in this book of like magic and people having prophecies and magical creatures and
Yes.
the literal devil trying to take over
Yeah.
the world,
Mhm.
it's the collapsing building that you're just like,
Well,
no.
Galina pushing over a beam and it was like a lever and the whole thing comes down.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I'm not.
I just want to
believing.
clarify. I just want to make
That's
sure we're on
it.
the
You're
same page.
right. Yes.
Okay, cool.
Well, what you don't know is that Robert Jordan actually has secret notes where Galina was an architect in the big city before she moved to the White Tower. So it's a whole side story.
It's the whole thing. Okay. All right. Well, we are going to enter in a Faile perspective. So Faile is still in the basement,
Yes.
buried under all of this collapsed building, and she's trying to estimate the time of day it is, and she thinks that it's a bit before noon. And the last time we were here with her,
Yeah, we had a
the
timestamp.
rescue party had shown up. They saw the waving flag, and they are attempting to remove the rubble
Yes.
so that they can get the ladies out of the basement.
And we also had Tylee, so the Shanshan, telling Perrin, like, hey, the other Aiel guys, they're going to show
They're
up
gonna
around
show up.
noon.
Mhm.
And Perrin's like, we're going to be done by noon. So, like,
Yeah.
noon is the time to be done and out of here.
Yeah.
It's not noon yet. It's
No.
close.
Mm-hmm.
And the General Tam arriving, that was pretty cool.
That
That
was
was
so
cool.
cool.
That was cool.
That was cool.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, I do have to say, last time I was pretty upset at the fact that maybe Faile needed to be rescued by Perrin. And I have to say this is a small win because she wasn't rescued by Perrin. She was rescued by her loyal followers, which is better.
Yeah.
This is a continuation of the trend of people who don't need to be rescued.
Getting rescued.
Getting rescued.
Yeah.
But I would
Although
say
in
that...
this scenario, they did need outside help. I'm just glad it wasn't Perrin hulking through the streets.
Right.
You know, because that's
Yeah.
really the trope I thought was going to be happening.
It's a little bittersweet, though. Like, we're not there yet, so I don't want
Yes.
to talk too much about it, but...
Well, what I was going to say, and like, again, we can talk about it later, but I think Faile is the best rescuee that we've seen so far in the series.
Yeah.
No one else has been rescued and been thankful right away.
That's a good point.
Or even remotely admitting that they
That's
needed
true.
help.
Yeah, exactly.
I could have done this on my own, you know.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
she actually could have done it on her own, and she
Well,
was still grateful,
What
which
I
I liked.
actually do appreciate about this, and we're going to talk about it and get into it at some point this episode, but I appreciate that the entire plan was get noticed so that someone can come help us.
Yeah.
And that plan went through.
It did. It was a
And
good plan.
so I'm okay with that. Because if the plan you have is help us, it's your SOS, right? And then it actually works.
Yeah.
Then that's fine. That feels like a win.
It's like you're stranded on a desert
Yeah.
island,
Yeah.
and you make the big SOS, and
It's
you're
like
like,
when you're
hey,
trying-
idiot.
It's like
Yeah.
when we have our Wonder Girls or whoever trying to escape themselves, and it's literally never gonna work.
Yeah.
Or it might work, but then we don't get the chance to see it happen because they're just someone swoops in and they're rescued.
Yeah, I call it a backup plan, to be honest.
There you go.
And the big thing with like all of the rescues that have happened so far is that they typically hinge on the actual rescuers doing that larger scale invasion thing that pulls everyone away from the park.
Right. Yeah.
And then the people who are being rescued are like, oh, now I can escape.
Yes.
Right? And then
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, because all of the guards are gone and everyone's distracted.
Yeah.
And there's a hole been blown in the wall or whatever in the case
Yeah.
of Matt with the stone and the girls, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it's like opportunity as
Yeah.
well as part of it.
And
but-
we talked a little bit about Faile being rescued from Perrin already, from that whole hedgehog situation.
Yes.
Right.
So
Yeah, that would be a repeat.
That would be. We don't want that.
that never happens here.
It does not.
We
No.
never repeat plot lines.
No. Nothing is redundant.
Never. Okay, so here we are. Faile is thinking that this rescue plan better hurry the frick up because there's a storm raging overhead. And she is thinking that all of the battle raging outside,
Yeah, the thunder and the
fireballs
booms.
and the lightning and everything that's going on, she thinks that that's thunder from a rainstorm.
Yeah, a storm
Yeah.
getting closer. Yeah,
Yeah.
She's
it's
like, I don't
yeah.
want to be in the broken down basement when it starts to pour rain because then we're going to drown, which is a fair concern.
Yeah.
Anyways, we got to get moving here.
Although, no, how much would it have to rain for this entire basement
Don't you
to
even
fill with
watch
water
any movies?
and she's gonna drown?
20 minutes,
Yeah.
max.
Or live in most
No, I
American
don't
cities,
think
I
that
believe.
that's Actually, I don't think that drowning is the fear. I think that
No.
making it more challenging to escape is
Mm.
the fear.
Okay, disagree, but that's
It's true.
fine.
I
Okay.
really don't think drowning comes into this at all.
20
No, that was
basement's
probably
filled.
never a threat.
Never.
Yeah.
I actually don't think that at all, Brett.
All right.
Okay, so finally Roland and the other brotherless dudes have made enough progress here that they can wriggle through and reach down and pull them out.
Human ladder situation.
Sort of, yeah.
Because Faile and the rest, they have to like climb over Roland's back, basically.
Mhm.
Which leads to the,
Bottom pinches.
Yeah, bottom pitches, and then Roland being like, oh, I like the weight of your body on me, but haha, let's get out of the basement or whatever.
Yes.
So
Yeah, that guy knows how to make his death less bittersweet.
it does.
Ugh.
Let's rescue these
Yeesh.
girls with a little bit of sexual harassment.
just a medium
just for
amount.
fun, just
Yeah.
as a treat.
Yeah, except the problem is Faile kind of likes it, whereas the other ones definitely do not.
Yeah,
Because
like
she's
Megan.
like, she likes being admired. She kind of is enjoying the attention.
Yeah,
Well, she kind of likes him.
Yes.
I would say that
That's
too.
that's
Yeah.
her type, right? Like big dumb idiot.
Oh, I thought you were the Perrin sympathizer over here. You're the one who's supposed to be on Perrin's side.
You can
I
be a parent
am.
Stan and still call him a big dumb idiot.
Yeah, she likes the severe, like she likes other
And I wouldn't
things.
call Perrin an idiot. I would call him an overthinker.
Yeah,
I
but
think
she
other
was
people would
surprised
call
when
him
he
an
wasn't
underplanner.
stupid still, right?
Yeah.
Like she was into him and then she found out
That's
after
true.
that he's
That he
not
was
an
actually
idiot.
smart.
Okay.
Right? So it's like that's not what draws her in.
Maybe.
Maybe that keeps her around, but that's not what draws her in.
Maybe. All right.
So that's a good argument.
Okay, but before they do the whole human ladder, I gotta give Faile props because she tries to get everybody out first before herself.
Oh, she does, yeah.
including
There's actually
Megden. She says Megden first, because she's the one who's so tired after doing all that channeling.
Yeah, they do that again in this episode too, in the chapter.
Yeah.
Where with the healing situation, it's like, not me first. It's like someone has to go first. Just like get it, go, just go. Let's go.
Well, I like how everybody else in that situation doesn't listen.
Yeah.
And they just do what they find is best.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was gonna point this out too, where it's Faile as a character gets a little bit of heat from the community overall, but she's the most competent, like,
she's excellent,
leader, group former.
We've been giving her some
She's
props
incredible.
around here.
Yeah.
I mean,
Perrin actually thinks that too in this chapter.
Yeah.
He's like, she
formidable.
She was literally just captive, and now she's taking charge. I love her for that.
Yes. And we've been giving her some props. Now, the Perrin-Faile relationship is separate from these props.
I think their relationship is way better than it was in, like, book 4.
Mm-hmm.
They've come a long ways.
We have grown.
Yeah.
We have grown, and we will appreciate the growth for what it is.
And just because you don't agree with the Saldean culture doesn't mean that it's necessarily wrong. I'm going to put that out there.
Well, I think the parts of it that come across as incredibly unhealthy are almost amplified. Yeah.
All the spanking and hitting each other, right?
But I doubt that happens in a non-consensual way when it's not done, like when it's done incorrectly, which is the way that their relationship has gone so far, where she brings in the heat and then Perrin has no idea how to respond to it.
Yeah.
He's got a point.
Right?
There's like a right and a wrong way to go about it. So.
Like there's just
I know
there's a
think
healthy
why
interaction
I was
to
so
it.
bothered and why so many other people are so bothered is it's supposed to feel like comedic relief, and it's like, this isn't that fun. This isn't like a sitcom from the 80s, like, you know what
Where's
I mean?
the laugh track?
Exactly.
Well,
right?
that's spanking in almost every other situation in the Wheel of Time.
Yeah, well,
I would
even
argue
these bottom pinches are supposed to be funny.
Yeah, something like
Right?
that, right?
And
Or
it's
at
like,
least weird or culturally, like, supposed to
Mhm.
demonstrate some sort of dynamic.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It, like, doesn't translate perfectly. But
Yeah.
I get it.
Okay, so we get Faile climbs out. She actually then realizes and becomes aware that the battle is raging around outside.
That there is a battle.
But she can't even make sense of what's happening or
Yeah.
how or why.
Yeah,
She's
she
like,
does.
this
She does.
can't be Perrin, right?
Yeah, because she does actually think like, oh, could this be Perrin? No, there's too many channelers. Like, where would he have gotten?
Yeah, he didn't have enough guys.
He doesn't have enough Aes
anything.
Sedai. Maybe he got Aes Sedai and Ashtaman, but also, like, it doesn't make sense because the wise one, she knows that there's like 400, and she knows that it's like this would be way worse. So she actually does some good logicking here and thinks
she tries to.
Well, it's actually pretty smart because she thinks maybe there's infighting among the Shido that's happening here.
Well, because she's like, there are not enough channelers channeling.
Yeah.
Like, I know how many Wise One channelers there are here, and there are not enough. And, like, we know that they're passed out from Forkroot,
Exactly.
but she doesn't.
Yeah.
Right? So she's just trying to make sense of this entire situation.
Well, it doesn't help that nobody else knows, too, because, like, none of her
They
people
all
do.
stayed here.
Roland doesn't know either. Like,
No,
they don't
they
know.
all stayed here.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they literally chose to avoid battle.
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
Aielman, like that's
Yep.
they're gone. Like
Got
they're just
something.
they're not whoever they used to be. They're not them anymore.
Well, they're following Faile, right? She's
Yeah.
their leader right now.
Which is wild because like at no point do you necessarily feel like she's recruited
No.
these guys until this moment maybe.
Well, because
Like,
we have
where you
100,
point-
we have 100 of her followers in the streets, and she's just like, "Oh my god, everybody's just here waiting for me."
Yeah, and then like 3 of them are these Aielman.
Yep.
Who like I don't know necessarily if anyone expected her to be able to recruit actual.
Well,
full-fledged
she
Aiel.
wasn't sure that Roland was even going to let them go. But then as soon as they're out, Roland does tell them, like, hey,
We're leaving now.
I'm going to get you guys out. I'm
Yeah.
going to hide you until nighttime because there's a battle going on. But then I'm going to get you out to the
Yeah.
forest.
Yeah.
And I'll make sure you have
Yeah,
supplies.
but you're
and all those
jumping way
things.
ahead. So let's get back to what's going on here.
Yeah.
Because we have these women who are trapped in this basement and have inhaled so much of the rubble and everything. They are so thirsty.
They've been talking too, encouraging.
Oh, so much talking. Oh,
So much
talking
talking.
is so hard. Okay, I will. Talking does take it out of you. I get that. I understand.
Yeah.
Throat
big
dry.
time.
Yeah.
Your throat
yeah.
does get dry. So the point I'm trying to make is Faile gets out, chugs water, and then when Magdan gets out, she chugs water,
And then.
and then guess what happens? Because it's
Promptly-
all fork-rooted water. Magdan passes the fuck up. she gets knocked right out.
She earned it.
And
Yeah.
I have an interesting tidbit to note. Faile feels a touch wobbly herself.
Interesting.
Ooh,
Yeah.
What are you
we
implying?
getting Faile has a spark?
Maybe.
We didn't get
Maybe?
we didn't get a ton of hints at it after Magdan was channeling the
but
whole
is
time.
she someone who maybe could learn? You know what I
Okay,
mean?
okay.
Like one of those.
Well, we
Yeah.
also do
like
know
not
that,
enough to be picked up by like a Damani or
Just,
something
like,
like
for
that.
the record-
or Shanshan, but
For the record, Forkert also affects non-channelers, just like you need a lot more.
okay.
So
Okay,
it does.
I just picked up
Yeah.
on it. I
Yeah.
just don't
No,
shoot the messenger. I
she
picked
didn't
up on
have
it.
very much.
Yeah.
So it's like your point is
picked up
closer
on
than
it.
Brett's.
Because Morgaze gets knocked out.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think Morgaze after
Faile's
this,
like, oh, she's tired. She's so tired.
Oh, she's so exhausted. And to be fair, like she probably is.
so tired. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I also think that this amount of channeling, because channelers like level up the more they channel, right? Is that right or no?
So that's I was gonna kind of draw
More like
that
guys,
in a little
yeah.
bit.
Because
Yeah,
this is the most I think Morgaze has ever channeled in her life.
allegedly, that's how it
Allegedly,
only
it's
works
more-
with
yeah,
guys.
Yeah.
So I've got a whole theory about how like the White Tower, basically like the way they discourage
They've, like,
people from
stomped
channeling,
it out of.
they have made.
That's why
they
none
have,
of them are strong.
They've brought their own power levels down by
Yes.
discouraging channeling on a day-to-day basis with their
Yes.
culture,
Yes.
Yeah.
and I think that that's part of
And that's
like
why the Ashaman
yeah.
increased so
They're
quickly.
always leveling up. They channel for everything.
Yes.
Yeah, and it does seem like we did see a power jump with Egwene after she did spend time with the Shanshan in
We
captivity. So
Yeah.
Yes.
allegedly, but
she always had the potential. They always knew she was strong, but yeah, it jumped. And now with Morgaze here, I think this is probably the most she's ever been able to like actually channel.
fair.
That's
Like
for,
a life or
for
death
a
situation.
long time anyway. Like she might have tried to channel quite a bit in the tower when she was there, right? Like
Yeah,
why
yeah.
wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And then it was like not enough. Like oh, you can make a scarf flap in the wind. That's not enough for Aes Sedai. But this is a lot for Morgaze, and so like maybe if she had just a bit of a power jump,
Just a little
and
bit.
then
Yeah,
now
I'll accept that. I like
Forked
it.
I don't know.
It could even be like an overtime thing where
Yeah.
like as you get older, some people might increase in power.
Right.
We wouldn't
And then
necessarily
she
be able
never
to tell the
tried
difference.
again.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right?
she's queen. She's queen of
Like,
Andor.
why
so
would
like,
she ever
you know.
try again when she knows she's so weak?
Yeah, especially in front of like Elida, who I'm
Mhm,
sure was
mhm.
incredibly supportive and fun to be around.
Oh yeah, she's like, you can do it.
Yeah.
You can do it, Morgaze.
Oh,
Just try to
right.
channel a little bit
Some-
more.
You know what? It's funny. It's interesting to think about
Morgaze and Elida.
Elida being Morgaze's advisor for like 20 years or something.
Yeah.
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 And like helped raise like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Elaine
Well,
and
that's why. Like,
Gawain.
I didn't not like Elida at the beginning.
You're just
No,
gonna
she
leave
seemed great.
Galad out of there. You're just gonna leave him out.
Well,
He's always the forgotten son.
Galad raised himself. Clearly he
Nobody
raised
paid
himself.
attention to
He
him.
read a book about how to be like the perfect human.
He
And
did.
then it was like,
became a
I
white
will
cloak.
do that.
And
That
then
is what I will
became
do.
a white cloak.
Yeah.
So that's what you get.
And
Yeah.
inevitably.
Inevitably.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
All right.
Well,
So now this is where Roland tells them that he's going to get them out without exchanging escape for sex.
right. And Faile's
So
like,
generous.
Oh,
good.
good.
Yeah.
I don't have to hide anything from Perrin.
It's like, cool.
Mhm.
And you know what? I gotta, like, to be honest, Faile was maybe assuming a lot. Like, who knows that Roland that was ever on the table.
It 100% was.
It was totally on the table.
Yeah.
Not as like I'm not going to save you if you don't have sex with me. I don't think Roland
no,
ever
I don't think it was
considered that.
quite like that.
Roland literally
No,
tries to
He
like
just took
win
her to the
over.
bar. He bought her a full meal and 8 drinks, and then just stared at her at the end of the night.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean
You
that's
know,
also
waiting.
Mhm.
there's
But it was
also
nothing
Just
had to
presume
happen.
there's
54
cultural
days
stuff
or
that
whatever.
you know they don't exactly go along with. You know, they're
Culturally,
Hey.
he's already off the rails, right?
I'm gonna defend Roland until he's dead.
Like how many
Whoa.
Ironmen have we ever
That
seen
is
pinch?
Actually, not very long
Not
from
very
now.
long.
Yeah.
That's why I said I'm
So-
gonna defend him until he dies. It's good. I got,
Now,
like-
finally, we do get everybody out of this building, which is good news. Because I was like, who's getting crushed under here?
Right,
Like-
who's the last
like,
person?
I actually was holding my breath a little bit because I was like, uh-oh, is one of these Chafail ladies gone?
yeah.
You know what I mean? So, no,
Yeah, you mean
everyone
like
gets out.
or Shurfa?
Yeah, one of those guys. Lucille or Arafel?
Okay, so here's
No, that's a place. Lucille?
Lucille and Arella.
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 I'm close.
So
close.
who's worse? Is it Roland and Faile? Is that situation worse, or is it so there's Arella who, when she gets out, she takes the water skin from Alden, who's another guy shine, and Alden is the guy who thinks that he can basically convert Arella from being a lesbian because
She's not into men.
not into men, and Alden's like, no, I can convince her to marry me.
Yeah.
It's like, no, dude,
No,
you can't.
You absolutely cannot. But
Who's worse?
That
But
one
I have to
that one I
say-
almost understand as cultural. A little bit.
well, he's like Arafellan or something, or Amadisian, I think he is. They
yeah,
said.
it's something. I
And-
don't even. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, and then we have Lucille, who's hooking up with,
Jordan, but she actually, I think, likes him.
and that is the craziest fantasy spelling of Jordan I've ever seen. There's
Where would
extra
you put-
I's and H's all over the place.
Where would you put the H if not after the J?
And also after like the D, like it's. I feel like there's extra letters galore.
I think it's Jordan.
Yeah, Fjorden.
Yeah, Jordan.
Oh man.
No.
Okay.
I'm never gonna live that down. I really wish I didn't say that. Okay, but it is important to note about Lucille and her Jordan guy,
Jordan.
which I really feel like she cares for him.
Yes.
Like they're actually hooking up.
Which makes what happens later very sad.
It's
I gotta.
I actually need a lot of help
I'm gonna
figuring out what's going on.
I'll rag.
later.
That's easy. I'm gonna rag on Perrin though
Okay.
because he's a dick later. But anyways,
Interesting.
it's fine.
Okay.
I have to do it.
We'll see.
Anyways, this perspective ends with Faile, and this is the key point here. She like knows the dagger's up her sleeve, and she grabs onto it, and she thinks that she's gonna need it before the nighttime.
And I was astounded. I don't know what word to use with how I felt about her just having a dagger up her sleeve this entire time. Like this entire time.
Why? Where else would you keep a dagger?
It just feels like it would be wildly uncomfortable, and she was doing all this physical labor, moving beams, doing all this, climbing up, all of this stuff, and she's got a dagger like attached to her forearm this whole time?
Sure.
Yeah.
You know, hold it in her teeth, or what do you want here?
There's daggers, like a throwing dagger would have like a thinner. It would
I
have like a
know,
really
but,
thin
like-
sheath. It would be like a
Yeah.
giant handle one or anything like that.
I would assume to do a bunch of this physical labor stuff, you take that off.
I don't know.
No?
Tell her.
To me, I was just
Tell
like,
her.
whoa.
Tell her how many daggers your D&D character has on him at all times.
Well,
So many.
I personally have.
Mm.
No, it's not a bad point. Yeah, you're right. Like it would have been hard to do pretty much everything that you're doing physical
Anything. The
labor
whole
wise.
idea of
with a
even
dagger.
having daggers and stuff or knives down the back of your pants
With like
or like
yeah.
on your ankle or at literally anywhere. It's
Mhm.
just, to me, I can't even imagine it
But if
as
it's
comfortable or natural.
it's got to be thin and it's got to be subtle. But like your forearm doesn't bend, right? So it's like
but
having
what
something
your
there is
like, does
okay.
it not reach
Not
your
up to your elbow. No, it would be just between the elbow and the wrist.
Well, and I feel like a lot
Look
of these
at
times
how,
they would
look
be...
at how,
Yeah.
look at though.
For her, would probably be pretty small too.
But all these blades would be sheathed too.
Yeah.
Like it's not just like bare
yeah, but
blade
it would
on
be
your skin.
banging and in my way.
you get like if it's like a 4-inch throwing dagger.
You know what? Maybe just carrying
don't know.
daggers isn't for you, and that's just where we need to leave
I want
it.
47
Yeah.
daggers.
And she was doing it before as like a hunter, I guess too, right?
She was a hunter for the horn,
And she threw daggers and stuff.
and her daddy is Davern
Davern
friggin'
Bashir.
Bashir,
I'm aware.
and her mom.
I'm aware.
is-
I'm not saying it's unusual that she's carrying these things and is good at throwing knives. I'm absolutely
It's
not.
just the fact that
questioning
it hasn't been brought up
The
before
fact
is
that
surprising.
she
Yeah.
still has it on after all of this morning. I don't know. Whatever.
So the two things you can't believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got it right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just didn't read Robert Jordan's backstory about
Mhm. Is that what
forearm
happened?
daggers. It's
Right.
Okay.
80 pages long
Well, I think this is a good time to take a break as this perspective ends.
Yeah.
with Roland's big hands.
But
on
not
her
too
arm.
long because it's late.
We gotta get back into it soon. Okay. Real quick.
Okay, here we go, and we're back. And when I stopped, and I was like, okay, drink refill, real quick, guys.
Quick break. Nope.
No, nothing's happening quick tonight.
Oh man, that was
Okay.
not quick.
You know,
Here we go,
through
though.
the magic of editing.
Here we go. It was quick for everyone else. Now we are going to perspective change into Perrin, as is tradition.
Right.
Perspective switch.
Nice, good one, good one. Now Perrin is here, running along in the Aiel camp.
Yes, so keep in mind, he's not in the town of Malden.
He's in the camp, in the tents. He's peeking into tents.
Yeah.
There's like
And
children
there's
and
like
stuff.
there's
Yeah.
like makeshift streets, so he's like running, and he's in like a non sort of. It's not very battle heavy where he is.
Mhm. He can hear battle sounds.
Yeah.
And he's like bleeding because he's been in
Oh,
lots of different
he's
attacks.
full Rambo mode right now.
Oh yeah, he's running around with his machine gun, just like
Yeah. On his own.
yeah.
Just side mission.
Yeah, like two Shido pop up and he's like bam bam with his hammer and then they're dead.
Well, I was gonna
and a
say-
knife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Hammer,
kinda
hammer,
funny.
stab, stab, and off he goes.
So the level of description that RJ puts into so like some of the fight sequences, like he goes hard in this one.
It's very, very
He
graphic.
like ruins a guy's face, and it's like
Yep.
he went hard on this one.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is full like a
Yes.
commando just
Yeah.
desperation.
And like, I guess maybe he just finds that more interesting, probably, to write about, I would assume.
Yeah.
Maybe. It's like wartime. It's like the Phil Collins Tarzan version of like going hard on a song you don't need to.
Oh.
And like he was just like, yeah, let's fucking go for this one Malden scene.
Yeah, honestly.
He's like, I haven't written a good battle yet for a little while.
Okay.
You're like, okay, so these two guys are dead. But wait, there's more.
Oh my god. Okay. So I have to point out.
Did you almost miss it the first time you read it?
Nope, did
Okay.
not.
Okay.
As soon as we see...
It happened so fast.
As soon as I see Aram's name, I'm like, whoa. Uh-oh, here we go. This is exactly what...
I know you're getting serious because you just put down your wine.
Well, I have to refer to the notebook
Fair.
for this one.
It's serious.
I had to put the glass down so that I could refer to the notebook because I have a presentation to show you.
Oh, is it just a picture of Aaron being a dick all the time?
No, it's my sus list from the beginning of this notebook that I started
Wow.
at the beginning of Crossroads at the end of Winter's Heart.
Love it.
And I have to say, okay, here I have the third one down, Aram-always. Aram is always sus.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
And then later on, down this list, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, down the list, at a different point in time, I wrote Shady Aram.
Okay.
Because I didn't realize he was already on
The name's so
and
shady.
then I had to draw an arrow up to the first Aram because that's how suspicious
it's
Aram
the same
was for
Aram.
me.
Yeah.
It's
okay.
the same one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here we are on this list.
How's the rest of that list going? Pretty good?
And I don't know talking
We're
about
not talking about that right
Just
now.
checking.
We're
Just
talking
wanted
about
to
the rest
check.
of the list right now.
That's
We're
fine,
talking
yeah.
about the one win I have right now.
Yeah.
I was right.
Yeah.
Twice,
so let's
technically.
do this.
I was right twice. Every time we've seen Aram in the last, I don't even know how long, like since the Two Rivers at least, I'm like, man, this dude's effed up.
That's a guy on the
We
edge.
gotta watch for this guy.
Yeah.
There is something happening here.
Yeah, well, can I also point out that Perrin has been like, since the Two Rivers, man, I should probably spend some time with him, but
Just
nope.
doesn't.
no time for that.
I just had a gut feeling. I was like, something's happening with this guy. But I have a thing here. So to get back to what actually happens in the
Right.
story,
Yes.
Perrin catches some motion out of the corner of his eye, and he throws himself to the side just in time for a sword to pass right where his neck was, and it's Aram's sword. So Aram is trying to kill Perrin in this moment
Oh, yeah.
because Massima told him to.
Basically, yeah. Well, we also got to see the evolution of Aram.
We absolutely
going
did.
to spend time
So
with Massima,
terrible,
and
so
Perrin was like,
terrible.
"Oh man, this is bad," but he didn't do anything about it. He
No,
was just like, "Oh man,
because
someone
he
just
was
thought that."
looking for his
Wife.
wife.
Yeah.
That's his wife.
As an earlier callback, there's no time now. What is it? The computer's starting or whatever?
Yes.
What's it
No
going? You
time
always
for
use
that
that?
now.
No.
The computer's starting up.
I think I'll order a tab. Nope, no time for a tab now. The computer's starting.
Right.
Well, this is bad, but I have to say, I really thought that Perrin was gonna have to kill Aram.
Yeah, they did a like Disney version of
They
it. Where,
100% did a Disney version where Perrin didn't have to get the kill.
Yeah.
He didn't have to kill Aram. He watched Aram die because somebody else kills Aram.
Yeah, and Perrin literally was like on the defense and was thinking, "Oh, I can't move my hammer fast enough to block this sword, and I'm gonna get killed."
It's a
and then he
big
trips
scene.
and falls back, and then Aram goes in for like the killing blow or whatever,
and then
it's
arrows get him in the back.
exactly. Yeah. I don't know. I said they did it. Like RJ did the Disney thing.
RJ
So,
did. Yeah.
RJ did it. He made a choice. Perrin didn't have to do it.
But what Aram was saying is, the prophet explained it to me. Your eyes, your shadow spawn. You brought the Trollocs to the Two Rivers. He explained all of it, and I have to rescue the Lady Faile from you.
Right. Yeah. Massima's bad news.
Yeah, and that's not
What?
like a very compelling. Yeah, like it's not. That's not good.
It's not.
No.
Well, the issue is that Aram has been looking for a mentor, someone to attach himself to, since his grandparents abandoned him. So, like, I really actually want to blame Rain and
Well,
Isla.
arguably, since his parents were killed, I guess.
Probably, but, you know, maybe he
Because
wasn't completely
even when we
bad.
first met him, he was looking for some kind of out.
He was. And then Perrin definitely, like, also said, "Hey, you look like the kind of guy who runs away a lot." So,
Well,
call back to that, too.
Perrin was
you know.
being a little protective of Egwene.
Maybe a little bit. So, there's a lot of things. I think I want to blame, like, the grandparents the most. That's just me personally right now.
Not Perrin. Not
No.
Massima. Not Aram himself.
No, I'm happy with my choice.
You just hate the way of the leaf.
I do.
Yeah.
Well, I also don't appreciate the fact that Rain and Isla literally like disowned him because he picked up a
their
sword.
way.
to protect the like they were
That's
gonna,
their way,
this
Brett.
was after a bunch of the Tinkers got slaughtered and came to the rivers like for refuge.
That's their way.
And Aaron was like, I want to help protect.
That is the
and
way.
then he picked up the sword and they were like, get out of here.
Such is tradition.
It's tradition.
So,
But there should be room in there for people who don't want to be a part of the Way of the Leaf and still can talk to
No.
Grandma and Grandpa.
yeah.
Have you
Don't you know?
met
Don't
any
you know?
society that this is based on?
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
It's called shunned for a reason.
Yeah, that's true.
Shunned.
Anyways.
Doesn't mean only talk to us sometimes.
But can't you do the unshun?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about that?
Unshun.
No, I don't think so. But okay, so
Also, Elias's name gets thrown under the bus here too, because Aaron's like, you're evil, but also Elias, but also
because
you.
of your eyes, right?
The eyes, yeah.
Okay, so then this is when after Aram dies,
Right, to the Shido arrows
yes,
in the back.
that
Yeah.
Perrin's like, well, here I go.
Yep.
Still on my mission.
Where's his wife?
Rounds a corner. He's running to the gates of Malden, which are invitingly open, and we know this because
They're stuck open.
They don't use any WD-40 on those hinges.
Exactly.
They just are stuck open.
The Shido don't even know what that is.
No.
They've never
Idiots.
greased metal before.
Never.
Idiots. There's like birds nesting on top of them.
Terrible.
Yeah. So he's running to them, and then he sees something.
It's the most beautiful girl in the Shido camp.
She's so hot.
It's so hot right now.
Yeah. And this all happens very quickly.
Oh, yeah. So fast.
Yeah.
So fast.
Like when they do this in the TV show, it's gonna turn to like the glamour shot, and like Dreamweaver's gonna play in the background.
Okay, so this is why I was saying it's kind of bittersweet, because it's literally Roland and the two brotherless who are guiding the guy Shine safely out of the city.
They're
Like,
going to the forest. They're leaving.
literally like
Yeah.
saving Faile and crew.
Well,
Yes.
maybe.
No, they are.
Not maybe. It's
Not
maybe.
Not maybe.
Definitively
100%.
saving.
They're saving them.
You're
No,
gonna-
they're trying to, but it's three
Oh.
Shido
Oh,
Aiel
like maybe they get
trying
sick.
to
Yeah,
escape
okay,
from
okay.
the Shan
Okay,
Chen
no,
and all the other armies.
Brett and I are trying to. It's definitive that they are trying to save them.
Yes, and it
Yeah.
sounded
They're
like you're
on
like,
their
oh
way-
no, maybe Roland's leading them to another murder basement that's
No.
going to collapse. Like,
no.
no.
But I'm also like, he's going to lead them where?
To the forest.
To the forest.
And then what? And then he's going to be like, see ya. I'm not going to bother you anymore.
Well,
no,
here,
like
we didn't
no.
talk about it, but the building collapses on their baskets of crap.
Yes, all the stuff, all the
All
things.
their stuff.
Roland
Yeah.
explains
The
this.
yeast, the flour,
Yeah, what else?
the blankets.
I'm pretty sure there was a hatchet, maybe.
There's other stuff.
Yeah.
Other stuff in there. They don't have any of that. And so when they're like, we gotta head to the forest, Faile's like, Mom, my stuff. All the stuff I collected to
Right.
go, to escape. I
And
was
Roland
so
says, I'm
prepared."
going to hide you. We'll get to the forest, and then I'll come back with all the stuff, and then we'll get you to, like,
Yeah.
I'll bring you stuff so you can go.
Yeah.
which he was absolutely not going to be able to do.
Yes, you would. Yes, you would.
I don't know. I think
I
that
told you, I am
would've
defending
been
Roland
better.
until he dies.
it would have been better than staying there and not being rescued.
True.
No, like I have no
Why are
issues.
you so against this guy?
I have
Because he's a parent stan. That's why.
Mm-hmm.
So Roland was always potentially going to rescue Faile for a price and in a way that he was going to do it, which was not going to be what Faile wanted.
Right.
He was never. It's like if it's saying the Shan Chen are going to rescue a bunch of people in the Shido camp,
Right,
like,
which I
sure,
don't want to talk about yet. 'cause
but they're
that's
gonna
the
be-
worst part.
Yeah, we're not there yet.
they're going to
We're
be
not there yet.
indoctrinated into the Shan Chen culture and all of the bullshit that comes with it.
No.
So I don't know. I just think I don't trust his motives. I don't think he's a good person after
No.
all this by any
Parent
means.
stan. Parent stan.
Well, also, like, let's justify his death. Let's go.
Okay, let's go. I'm defending Roland until he dies.
It's fine.
Well, then he'll die. Okay, so I actually have a question for you.
Okay, so
What
here we
is-
go. Yeah.
Here's my question.
Yeah.
I have a question. What is the difference between the Algai Siswai
Yeah,
and
the Muradin.
and the Shido?
Okay, so Algaida Siswai literally is like an Aiel warrior.
Okay.
So not all Aiel are warriors,
Okay.
because there's like blacksmiths, there's children, there's roof mistresses,
What's
there's
the name
people
What's
who are
the
not
name
warriors.
for the brotherlet?
Muradin.
Oh, that's what you were saying.
Yeah.
So
The
the
brother-
Algai Diswai are
Algaida-
not
Yes, so,
brotherless?
well, they are.
They
This
can
is
be.
This is a square and
I
rectangle.
am.
both.
Oh no!
I'll explain,
I
I'll
am
explain.
so confused.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'll
just-
never get it. You don't even have
I'm
to.
gonna
But-
do it.
It sounds like the people of the dragon, right? Is that the
No.
one that sounds similar to
No.
Algai Disiswai? Like,
Mhm.
Yeah, a little
Yes,
bit,
It does.
yeah.
What is it?
God, I can't remember.
Okay, so here's the full explanation of how this all breaks down. So, Siswayaman are the spears of the dragon. So those are the Aiel who follow Rand, who are like, I'm not... Siswayaman. So
they've got their special band as well.
They have the band, and they're the guys who are like, I'm not really part of anything, except that I'm just a spear for the dragon.
That's
all
what
I
I thought this was.
Yeah, so Algai de Siswai are the people... And Perrin views them as that because they're just literally the Aiel warriors. So any warrior who's Aiel is Algai de Siswai.
Okay.
So they're basically like the warriors, not civilians. And then we have the Meradin, who are the brotherless, who are the ones who are with the Shido, but don't really connect with the Shido. So that's Roland. They don't really fit in anywhere right now. So they're just kind of hanging out. But they're the ones who don't want to follow Rand, but they don't really fit anywhere else. So that's why they're brotherless.
Yeah, got it. Okay. So I'm just going to read this out to kind of clarify why this was confusing for me.
Sure.
So it says, most were garbed in dirty white robes, but 3 were veiled Algai de Siswai. One of them a hulking fellow, blah, blah, blah. That one had Fail's arm in his fist. And I was like, oh, shit, that's for sure Roland.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
And then, with a roar, Perrin rushes forward, raising his hammer, and the huge man flings Faile backwards.
Because it's Roland
then
trying to defend
Faile.
Faile.
Comes up, right? And Faile screams, Perrin.
Right.
And then...
That makes Roland hesitate.
Right, but in the text it says, the big Shido seemed to hesitate for a heartbeat, and Perrin took advantage of it.
Yeah.
And now, my question was, like, what's the difference between this because I didn't think that meant Shido.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily.
And then I was like, hold on, is this Roland?
Yeah.
Because that's what that made me think.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Because I was like, I didn't think Roland was Shido.
Yeah, well...
But it's from Perrin's perspective.
It is from Perrin's perspective, so technically, he, like, any Aiel warrior is an Algai de Siswai, because they're, like, spear dancers. Dancers of the spear.
It's like, it's a flex.
Perrin assumes they're all Shido, because he's not going to, like, oh, that guy's brotherless. He doesn't really connect with any of his people anymore, so he's having an existential crisis.
Not that any of that would have mattered, because most brotherless would have been in the battle anyway.
Exactly. It doesn't really matter, because, like, Perrin's an attacking force, and they don't really know why.
Right.
So Faile shouting out, like, Perrin, Roland knows Perrin is Faile's husband. Like, she's talked about that, so that makes him hesitate, and Perrin uses that as an opportunity to crush his skull in.
Yep.
Perfect.
Oh.
So Roland's dead.
Oh, yeah.
Immediately.
Well, and that one, I get 100%. And then the 2 others are rushing forward also.
They are, but this is the cool part. This is like why it's like also a little bit bittersweet. And this is where I'm going to just like shit on Perrin for a little bit here too.
Ooh, shit on Perrin. No,
I mean,
don't do it.
I'm going to do it a little bit.
You can try.
Okay, so Perrin kills Roland. That's a little bit sad for Faile, but we know...
Well, it's like a gut-wrenching, like, oh shit, like, that's a horrible way to see someone die. Like, literally, his hammer crushes...
Roland was in the middle of saving Faile, too.
Yeah.
Or Perrin just stumbled on an Aielman who was taking Gai Shen.
Yeah, and, like, he doesn't know, but Faile knows. Faile knows what Roland's intentions were, at least from her perspective.
That's why she yells
That's why she yells out,
so
like,
let's talk about Roland's intentions.
Yeah.
How does he refer to the other Aiel in the camp in the way that they're treating all of the Gai Shen?
He doesn't care for it, but he's not going to do anything about it.
Exactly. So he's going to take Faile away, and then what is she going to be?
Gai Shen.
Gai Shen, for now. He wants to woo her.
Yeah.
But he also said that
so he's going to
let
make her his prisoner.
Yes.
Yeah, because that's what they do with
Maybe.
Gai Shen in the traditional Aiel culture. But this still isn't good.
No.
And unfortunately, it doesn't really matter now because Roland's dead.
Yeah, well,
so
and we just have to say, realistically, this is somebody that Faile did emotionally connect with while she was in captivity.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's just a hit to her, and she handles this entire thing with such grace. I don't know.
Well.
I just have to give her props.
So remember before when she hid the dagger up her sleeve was like, oh, I'm going to have to use this dagger before nightfall. So then another of the 2 brotherless, because we got Kirahun and then Jordan. Those are the 2 other brotherless who are still alive right now. So she stabs one of them in the back because he goes
stabs him or throws the knife.
Well,
because I think she's far enough away. It's a throw.
Okay, throw, stab. That is not the part that I actually care about.
Okay, I care.
Quick question though.
Yeah.
When she's talking about how she's going to use that dagger before nightfall, was she thinking about she was going to have to kill these guys?
Maybe
already.
Maybe
we don't know.
Actually, yeah, I prefer that. Yes.
Why wouldn't she?
Yeah.
Right?
like, what I know that she had some sort of emotional connection with them, but she seems to get over it pretty quick.
Yep. She's like, we're gonna have to get away.
And
Yep.
she knows that she's not gonna be able to stick with him. Like, there's
Roll-
no way
Roland's
that
dead now,
Roland
too,
and
so I
Perrin were
gotta-
gonna get along.
No, never.
right?
No,
So-
never.
yeah.
No.
So anyways, she either stabs or throws the dagger and kills the next one who's going after him.
Okay.
And then the third one goes to attack too, but then Lucille is the one. There's 2 daggers, and the third guy dies because Lucille and Noralia kill the third guy.
Yes, together.
Who's Jordan.
Which is Lucille's bow.
Exactly.
At the moment.
So Lucille literally kills the guy who she definitely, I'm going to argue, had some actual feelings for.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So Perrin thinks, Lucille, not so easy killing a person in real life now, is it?
Yeah.
Because
He does think
he hates the Faile and thinks they're a bunch of posers.
Yeah.
But she's not crying because she killed someone. She's crying because she killed the person
Her
she
lover.
likes.
Literally her lover.
Literally
Yeah.
the person
Yeah.
she was like doing previously and actually cared about. So Perrin sucks.
Kind of, yeah. My point is, are these Aiel men really dying from a knife in the back? Dead on the ground, knife in the back, dead?
If you get them in the heart, a big person dies
Or the
too.
lungs.
That's like a real thing.
I really don't think that's like immediate down dead. And they don't even, I don't know. Like, it's in the writing, I guess. But there's such realness and such graphic stuff to all of this. And then it's like, knife in the back, dead.
Yeah, that
On the
seems that's
floor.
more of like a TV death,
Yes.
right? Where it's
That's
like
what
you
it felt like
okay.
for me.
like
it just
a
felt
guy
like,
gets shot in the arm and his day's
yeah.
over.
And
You
I
know
mean,
what
like, Roland with the hammer to the skull.
Sure.
So
Sure
hard that
did.
it lifted his feet off the ground and now he's dead.
Yeah.
Got it. And
I
then
don't
it's
know.
like, knife in the back.
I'm gonna still
dead.
say like, yeah, you die because like I'm just imagining a 3-inch blade through. Like that's all of me.
It just, I know, but like,
It's like you're dead.
immediate death, or are
Yeah.
we bleeding out, or are we, like, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean,
I'm just,
you could give
calling
them-
it like I see it.
you could give them credit for maybe doing a very accurate stab.
Sure.
Sure.
If we're gonna be
Okay.
giving the
that.
Chafail credit for
Let's
something.
do that, shall we?
Yeah. Anyways, so that's the gripe that I have with Perrin
And now
about just being a little
yeah,
bit,
because
you know.
Lucille is crying.
Yeah. And
But
his
now-
whole he just thinks, okay. Anyways, that's
Yeah.
done now.
But the
Okay.
Chafail have been the brunt of the joke for like 4 books now.
Only to Perrin though, because Perrin hates
no,
them.
to everyone. The Aiel hate them.
Yeah.
Perrin hates them because Gull hates them. It's his best friend who's like, those guys
Well,
suck.
they hate them because they're like appropriating their whole
Yeah.
entire culture.
Exactly.
Which
Yeah.
is like,
which is
fair.
all focused on death and
it's
around
it.
Yeah.
But you don't.
And the
get it.
Aiel would be cool with them like learning, but they're just like not learning it the right way either.
No,
because
yeah.
there was
They
like a
don't
little
like
bit
that.
originally. We're like, well, we'll teach you, but they're like just watching and then copying, but like doing it wrong.
Like badly, yeah, without
Bad-
any of the underlying learning, yeah.
Mm.
And then making that
Can I
up.
talk about how Perrin and Faile are finally reunited?
Hey, we did it.
We did it, guys. We're
Okay.
reunited.
Yeah.
And it feels so
I was
good.
gonna do that too.
So here's the thing too. Just like an argument, because now I'm not going to defend Roland. I'm going to defend Faile and her feelings towards Roland because Perrin smells shame on her.
Yeah, and,
And
thinks,
Perrin's-
well, the
yeah.
man is dead, and the woman has a right to keep her secret if she wants. And here's my prediction.
Points
Yeah.
for Perrin.
This is going to come out in a yelling match
Okay.
one day.
Perrin's bad at interpreting feelings too, like generally
Yes, we
speaking,
already
in my
know that.
opinion. So
Well, do you think this is gonna be a 2-way street when Faile and Berlane reunite
yeah.
as well?
That whole
Ooh,
rumor
because
situation.
most of that camp believes
Uh-huh.
yeah.
that they
You know,
shacked
and
up.
Barrelane called it off because it's
But
like
now
Perrin,
Faile's back.
you stopped.
It doesn't matter though. Yeah, it doesn't matter if she called it off. That's not the point.
Temporarily.
Perrin
Yeah.
never did anything before.
Yeah. Okay.
But before I had predicted that Berylane was backing off, mostly because it has to do with Faile and not Perrin. And so as soon as
Thrill- yeah.
Faile's back, I don't know, she might kick it on again.
It's a thrill of the hunt, right? Like
And that's back to like, what, book 3? Early book 4? In the Stone of Tyr?
yeah.
Yeah, it was when Barrelane switched from Rand because like that
and
was
then
a,
also
the
Matt
mirror
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, and
to Perrin, and then had a fight, like a knife point fight
yeah.
with Faile, and like
Yeah.
someone came in and took
Ruark.
the knives away. Ruark, right?
Ruark
Yeah.
came in.
Right.
He was like, no.
Well, didn't she like meet Matt and then just like mumbled like we're
She
too,
li-
we're
yeah, she
too
literally
similar?
didn't
Yeah.
even like pursue him. She was like, nope, we're the same person. Nope, nope.
Not gonna work. Smart.
Yeah.
Okay, so Perrin and Faile are going to have a bit of a moment here. And Perrin's like, are you hurt? Were you hurt by the Aiel? And she's like, no. And then this is where he smells her plethora of emotions and is trying to make sense of them.
Yeah.
And I think Perrin is assuming probably that this Ioman did something to Faile. Like, he doesn't have an idea of the depth of where her shame is coming from. He's made assumptions since the second that he walked into this moment.
Just like,
well, it's like now is not the time to have this conversation either, because even when she's like, nope, they didn't hurt me, it's like, technically these three Aiel did not hurt her.
Yeah, and
but
she's
like,
not an Aes Sedai or something. Like, she 100% will just lie.
And like the Aiel in general, they hurt her.
Because
like often.
Later, Perrin smells how much Faile hates Galina and hates Savannah.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, not the time for this conversation, though, because we're in the middle of this is one of those, let's get out of here first, and then we can talk.
All these 100 Guy Shine followers.
Also them. It's almost noon. Here. It's almost noon. We gotta go.
Right. Yep.
Oh, by the way, our town's population is going to go up a lot.
Oops.
So then Faile right away is like, all right, what direction is safe? We got to get moving. And she starts directing people. She's in leader mode.
Yeah.
And she's like, you go this way. You over here.
Yeah. She's directing traffic.
Mm-hmm.
This is the part where Perrin's like, hey.
That's right.
My lovely wife taking control.
And then he starts wiping his
bloody. It's full of brains and stuff from Roland's head.
And well, no, he wipes his knife off, and then he also thinks I should also wipe my hammer off.
Yeah, and I'm not thinking about what's on it because it's not just blood.
It's gross.
Yeah.
And then they have to send people to the fortress for the plan that just did not work.
100% failed.
Just did not happen.
Like, how long did they have to crawl through fucking sludgy water?
Still, I'm pretty sure.
For literally nothing.
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah.
And no thank you.
It was a good plan.
I'm still going with it. It's definitely like a water slide.
We were trusting some rando Aes Sedai. Like, no.
Who, as far as Perrin knows until this moment, can't lie.
I know.
And said she was going to do it.
But still, like... She could have said things in a wishy-washy way.
The first interaction, like, eye of the world is like, don't believe things that Aes Sedai say because you might be hearing one thing.
Lesson.
That's like the first lesson we ever learned.
Like, don't
but that's why
entire plan on that one thing.
But that's why he got the specific, like, you will do this. And she's
like,
uh-huh.
If it wasn't
definitely.
Weird Taviran nature that he sees her leaving, because that was my whole thing at the end of last chapter. Okay, now what? How are we crossing paths? And that's exactly what happens. Literally cross paths
outside the gates
by chance.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, the chapter title. Yes, exactly. Yeah. So
yeah.
Right?
That's where we are.
It's not like, oh, anyone intentionally did anything. It's like, oh, by happenstance we found each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, best laid plans.
All right. And that's why Tam was like, I guess it's an okay plan.
Right.
It's medium at best.
Yeah.
But sure.
I mean, the whole point is they also plan to win the entire combat, right?
Yeah.
Like, the plan was never to, like, you know, do this secret side mission and get Faile. It was like, we're going to kill every Shido, and my plan is actually to do something that'll hopefully keep Faile safe until all the Shido are dead.
Right.
So we'll get to her in the fortress, we'll shut the doors, there's going to be people to protect her.
Which in itself is also, it's a crazy plan anyways.
All of it.
Yeah.
But when Perrin is like, you should send someone to the fortress to let them know.
Yeah.
To come out, she's like, what?
Yeah.
Why? What a weird thing. How are people in the fortress right now?
Yeah.
And then he's like,
it's the whole real life.
I sent them there because Alice told me to. And by the way, we've been saying Elise because there's an E on the end of this word.
Oh, it's
and
Alice?
Spelled as
Alice
wild as possible.
Audiobook. Audiobook is Alice.
Okay.
But.
All right, that's fair.
I still think it's Elise.
It's Galina.
Because Moraine is Alice.
Yeah.
Without an E.
Yeah. So they're both pronounced the same way, but.
Isn't she also Elise?
No. There was a different Elise, I thought.
Well, there is an Elise, but that's a separate person.
Yes.
She's spelled with an I. That's different, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, anyways, so Perrin and Faile are both like, what? Galina, liar? What? None of this makes any sense. Okay. She might be Black Aja.
Okay, I just have to ask the both of you right now.
Sure.
Knuckle your forehead. What does that look like?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like a head nod bow, like a. Imagine you have a cap,
like a tilt
that you're tipping.
What if you had to knuckle your mustaches?
I would be doing this.
That's not knuckling.
No, that's like playing with it. I don't know. I don't. It just there's no.
It's like I feel like it's like
Theral,
this.
The child, knuckles his forehead.
Yeah, it's like a.
Okay, because I was thinking
It's like a sign of respect.
I'm literally like rolling my knuckles across my forehead, and I'm like, "What is it?"
Like a close hand salute.
I would say
almost?
it's like a halfway between like a salute and a tipping your cap.
Okay, because when Tom knuckles his mustaches,
That's
like
when you do
consternation,
this. You
and he's like
twist
thinking,
them.
and he's like, "Oh, I'm kind of perturbed."
Yes.
And I'm knuckling my mustaches.
Yes.
I'm like knuckling my forehead.
Yeah.
I'm like rolling my knuckles.
These
along
are
my
different
forehead.
things.
Well, I don't know why you're confused about this chapter at all.
Oh,
This
God,
is making
just the
perfect sense
weird
to me.
terminology here. I can't understand.
Okay. So anyways,
Anyway,
Farrell
Elise
goes
is a
off.
big fat liar.
Yeah.
And then that's when Faile is like, Elise who? I know Galina, who's a bitch. So is that her? She might even be the Black Aja.
Right.
Dun, dun,
Okay.
dun.
So in the meantime, Theriel, the child, went off to run to get the people from the fortress to come back here.
Yes.
And that's where we should pick up because that's where also new exciting things happen.
Well,
sort of.
Well, we get all of the men checking on where their women are.
Yeah.
That's what we get.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty accurate.
I was gonna say he knuckled his fjord head.
Get out.
No,
You're not
Get out.
invited back ever.
We got to do it at least 3 times.
Get out of my house.
Okay, so we got Talonvor here. He shows up.
And Megan's unconscious still.
Oh, yeah, well.
Where's
yeah.
my wife?
And we're like, listen, Talonvor, she's very tired from her waving the flag tricks, okay?
And she is.
I know.
Yeah.
I love
Don't diminish
Morghese.
the accomplishments of Morghese.
I would never. I'm just saying, he needs some convincing that that's why she's passed out right now.
Yeah, fair.
Now, Gull is also worried. He's like, hey, where's Chiad? She's the one I care about.
He got tricked.
Yeah. And he's like, I'm going to go find her.
Yes.
Now.
Yeah, no,
And-
it's no. Oh God, I need to find her.
Yeah.
Well,
if I'm
'cause-
not the first, then I'm
And then
screwed.
Perrin's like,
This is
get
my
it.
only plan. My only plan to win her over.
yeah. Well, and Perrin even thinks, like, I get it, man. I get it.
yeah,
Mhm.
Go find your girl.
Yeah.
yeah.
And Elias goes with him. So that's fun.
Well, to keep him out of trouble because we
Well,
also don't want Gaul
and he's
being taken
excited.
by Shine.
Yeah.
I hope this becomes like a threesome moving forward. You know what I mean? Like where it's like these 3 guys in the same group together, getting along and having fun.
Oh, okay.
Like I want to see Perrin and Elias and Gaul interacting as a group.
That three. I
When-
was
when
like,
things
who
are
are you talking
normal,
about?
Just
you
3
know.
dudes being dudes. Yeah.
Because like Perrin just hasn't had normal interactions with anyone for like
Ever?
2 books
Right.
now.
Long time.
Yeah.
Long time.
He's not been doing so well.
No.
Okay.
No. Anyway, then we get a whole lot of everyone needing to be kind of caught up to speed and also needing to be healed.
Right. And this is one of those parts where it's like, no, you go first. No, you go first. No, you go 1st.
Mhm.
And then Sandra's like, no, like I'm just gonna do this.
Right. And so while she is healing, she's overhearing this conversation between Faile and Alejandra, who are really heated, discussing the fact that Galina sucks.
Oh yeah, she's the worst.
Is the worst Black Aja. And then Sionid is like, Galina Kazban?
Excuse me, is that who you said?
And Faile's like, I don't know her last name, but she sucks.
Yeah, it's like description and she's
Sionid
the
is like,
worst.
sounds like Galina.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I don't know about Black Aja, but she certainly sucks.
Yeah. It's like the next worst thing.
Yeah.
She's
And
red.
then
She's red.
blah, 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 blah. She did a lot of things, and she'll have to have a trial. This is Aes Sedai business, Perrin.
Right, Perrin doesn't like that though.
No.
Yeah.
But then we link it back to the 2 rivers and some thief and something.
Well, there's like a story. So
Congers
Perrin's
and-
like, if
No,
I ever
we
see
don't need
her,
to talk about it.
I'm
We
gonna
don't
kill
care.
her. And Sionid's nah. And Perrin's like, yeah. And then she's like, no, trial. And then Perrin's like, nah. And then Faile's like, but actually, you like
Yeah.
trials.
Here's
and
some
Perrin's like,
folksy shit.
yeah. And
Yeah.
Perrin's like,
well,
you
alright,
got me in that. It's like, but also like, if you guys don't try her and find her guilty, then if I see her, I'm a killer.
And it's like, Perrin, you don't even know what she looks like.
No, it's like, well, no, you met her that one time, right?
Oh, he did meet her that one. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay, so
And if I know anything,
here's the thing. Galina is on Perrin's hit list and Rand's hit list.
So here's a question. Perrin sees someone who looks kind of like Galina.
Dead.
Does
right
he
away.
kill her? And it's like,
Straight to jail.
is that Galina?
Straight to jail.
I guess she looks like her a little.
Straight to jail.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so now the fighting is certainly coming to an end. Like, all the explosions and stuff have stopped. And
Yeah, we are like winding down here too,
Yeah.
which is nice.
And I do want to ask, because we kind of glazed over it, there's some random dude here who's looking for Missouri. Kirkland.
Yeah.
I assume he works for Costco.
He does. Makes
Not
great
sure.
vodka.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
His signature stuff. It's the best.
Everything's very cheap, but it's very high quality.
Bulk.
Yeah,
Bulk.
so if you recall, so that's
I
Missouri's
don't
water.
recall. That's what I'm asking. Okay.
So when they went down the water slide, aka the aqueduct
Plan
system, so cyanide was the Aes
best plan,
Sedai.
some would say.
Kirkland also went down the water. Missouri's water went down the water slide with cyanide in her waters,
But
and
Missouri didn't go.
Missouri didn't go. So once he was in town, he's like, I'm gonna go find my Aes Sedai. Makes sense because their plan kind of went to shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Their plan, 100%. It was
Yeah, I was
terrible.
gonna say. I said kind of, but
Can I tell you, Missouri's on my sus list. Do you know why she made it on my sus list?
Darkhounds. She
Yeah.
knows way too much about Darkhounds.
How did you remember that? Oh my god, I'm so impressed with you. I didn't even remember her name, and then she was on my sus list under Aram. Under Aram the first time.
She did the whole monologue about here's
Knows
everything I
too
know about
much about
Darkhounds,
Darkhounds.
and I know how
That's
many
what it says
yeah.
on my sus list.
Well, here's
Wow.
another weird thing for your sus list. Wouldn't Kirkland be able to censor?
Well, yeah.
That's why he's gonna go find her.
But when he walked up and said, like,
Where
I'm
is
going
she?
to go find her, yeah, it's like, okay.
He knows the direction, but he has to physically find her.
Maybe it's maybe someone knows. Oh, she's literally standing beside that tent. I don't know. Is it that directional? The water bond?
I
Yeah,
mean,
when
he's
you're
that
close,
he
yeah.
should be able to just know
Okay,
where
fine.
she is.
Well, he has to go find her.
Moving
but why
on.
did he
No
not
time
just
for
go
that
find
now,
her?
guys. No time for that now.
He's letting them know he's leaving. Anyways, I do like how you're saying, why do you know things about the Wheel of Time? I don't know, Danny.
Sometimes I ask you things and you don't actually remember exact specific details, and you have to look them up.
That's true. That's fair.
I'm impressed that the Darkhound thing with Missouri, because I didn't remember that.
Yeah.
So I wrote it and I didn't remember it. Okay, let's get Tylee's report.
Okay, here we go.
So, Banner General Tylee, sorry, excuse me. Oh my god, not just General.
Yeah.
No.
Uh-huh.
Banner General.
And she's probably going to get promoted now, too.
She is definitely getting a huge promotion.
Oh my god, I'm so sick. I'm so sick thinking about this part.
Hold up, before we get almost throwaway sentence where it's Banner General Tylee rides up and
with
there's
a
a naked lady
Yeah.
across the horse. Anyways, let's go into the
with
report.
her coffee table.
Yeah, no time for that now. Let's talk
her
about
hat rack.
Yeah.
The nicely rounded
Yeah.
hat rack.
gosh,
Am I
yeah.
right? Am I right, fellas?
Okay.
True.
Yeah?
Upturned bottom is not a word that we
I love it.
frequently
I love
use,
an
but
upturned bottom. I
it's-
just love it. Nicely rounded, well-rounded, and Perrin
Well-rounded
appreciates it.
upturned bottom is just
Love
a
it.
sentence we're never going to hear again.
Oh my god.
Well-
Yeah, right. Yeah, fuck we will. Of course.
Oh, in these books, absolutely. I'm saying
yes.
in life.
In life,
Yeah.
no. Okay. Well, Tylee is now going to start talking to Perrin about how remarkable the Two Rivers bows are because they're pretty fantastic. And she's like, I didn't get my hands on those. And I was like, bitch, you need a lifetime to learn how to use one of those.
Exactly. Get some of Matt's crossbows, which
Ooh,
Tuon's
those are
working
the
on.
ones.
There you
those
go.
are the ones we need.
that's what we need.
You don't want the Shantan to have either of these
No.
things.
No, neither of us want that. Okay,
But yeah, it's all good. So, update on Massima.
tell us.
Well, a lot of Massima's people are dead.
Okay, so I'm a little confused because there were actually two groups of Massima's people.
Well, because Massima was supposed to be with his people.
I'm aware.
He didn't
but
go with them.
He brought 200
Yeah.
of his best
And
with him.
He
right?
carved his own little path in the battle, and he's not dead. But then a bunch of his ragtag group of whatevers, a bunch of those people died. But Massima himself is not dead, and Perrin's like, shoot, really wish he was, because now the whole Aram situation is now it's my word against Massima's.
Well, and you can't
But it's
tell
also
anybody.
Perrin, but it's not your word against Massima. Just kill literally everyone wants Massima dead. Just fucking kill
Everybody
him.
wants Massima dead.
Everyone wants him dead, but no one wants to kill him.
No, everyone wants to kill him. Perrin's like, don't.
But no one wants to actually kill him.
I bet they would.
I'm pretty sure the wise ones would be like,
The
yeah,
wise
we'll
ones,
kill him.
They're the ones who are like, yeah, dead.
We should kill him. And
He's
even
a
the Aes
rabid
Sedai were
dog
like,
who
yep,
needs
we
to
should
be
do
put
it.
down. They literally said that.
Yeah, but they haven't done it.
No,
Because Perrin's
said
like, no.
Yeah, but that wouldn't stop them from doing
It
it.
does actually.
It shouldn't though. They do
Shouldn't.
everything with
Okay.
they do things that Rand tells them not to do.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean? Their whole thing is
I know, but they're also
they agree
trying
and then
not
they wink. You know what I mean?
I think they're also trying not to cause a bunch of contention within this group right now.
I'm not saying
Yeah.
kill Massima. I'm just saying, what if he wasn't alive anymore?
Well, that's definitely what Perrin is hoping for in this situation, but at least a bunch of his ragtag criminal
Yeah.
Pals are all dead.
We don't have like numbers exactly yet, so we
No.
just gotta put a pause on that too.
We know
Okay.
half of his 100, and then we know most of the other people.
And it's like that's
of the
very
people who
very
died
vague.
like basically just like kept fighting, even when it was like, stop it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're done. You don't have to keep doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now in bad news for the good guys. So the whole
This
let's
part
capture
made my stomach like literally clench.
let's capture all the
'Cause
wise
this is
ones.
the part that I didn't love, and there's mixed feelings about this entire thing because it's the whole moral dilemma
Yeah.
of the Shido suck, but what do we actually want to happen with the Shido because they suck?
Yeah, and
right?
also the Shanshan suck.
But also the Shanshan are horrible.
But also Perrin wants his wife back.
Mm-hmm.
He did what he had to do to get his wife back, and he succeeded.
Right. Okay. So Tylee is very happy because they've already taken over 200 channelers as new Damani from here, and it was so easy because of Perrin's tea.
Yeah, the fork root, yeah, it worked.
It worked, and they could barely even stand up. They're gonna need a bunch of freaking rake-ins to come in and
Yeah.
carry them away.
Now here's the thing. This is why we were talking about the promotion, because this was so incredibly successful for Tylee, as like if we're purely looking at from a Shanshan
battle
perspective.
statistic standpoint.
Yes, like Tylee has had absolutely insane success in her mission here, and like for sure, granted, Shanshan is kind of like in chaos right now because
Because of
everything that's happening.
Semirog, right.
Samurai,
She doesn't know that yet.
Imperial
probably,
family's
though,
dead.
No,
right?
she does
Tuon's
not.
missing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's crazy. It's crazy. But
Actual
like
Shanshan, crazy. Tylee right now,
Yeah.
winning.
She rode
winning
up.
her life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she captured 100 Damane.
200.
200. She's having the best day
Only
ever.
100 casualties on their side.
Which is all, and it's funny because parents like, I know,
It could be two Rivers men.
but it's
and-
like, dude,
yeah.
you lost 100 people when you fought the Aiel.
Yes.
Thousands of them. You should all be dead. Everyone should be
Thousands
dead.
Yeah.
of them.
It's a good
Yeah.
return though for Perrin to his regular character,
Yes.
because there was the time
He
not
wouldn't
so
care.
long ago where he was talking about he would burn the whole world down.
You say not
just
so
to
long ago.
save.
That was at the beginning
That
of the
was
chapter.
That's what I
man.
mean, right?
That
Like,
was yesterday. That
Yeah.
was this morning.
Yeah.
That was this morning.
So 20 minutes ago
Yeah.
before he found Faile.
so it's a good reminder about the inner monologue not being the best.
He has his wife back, so
Yeah.
now we can care about things again.
Okay. And then this is where Perrin's like, okay, well, it's time to start moving, but who's that naked prisoner with the nice butt?
Right.
Who's that?
Yeah.
And then Faile's like, it's Savannah, and I hate her.
No. It's Savannah.
Oh, nice. It's like
Savannah.
molasses
Yeah.
spilling out
It's
of
like
your
molasses
mouth.
spilling out of your mouth.
That's right.
Okay.
And then Tylee is like, oh, well, Savannah's a very overly proud person, and she even managed to stab a couple of my soldiers before I took her spear away from her.
Yeah.
And Savannah's like snarling through her gag, and then Tylee smacks her butt and she quiets down.
Yeah.
This whole scene is just
It's also
wild.
like we don't like Savannah.
No, I'm fine with this.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, because here's the thing. I said this from the beginning, I think.
Sure.
Probably from something wild like Path of Daggers or Winter's Heart. Like when Faile was kidnapped and we were there and there was a whole thing with the wise ones who were channeling, but Savannah couldn't.
Yeah.
And then eventually we talked about the fork root and I was like, Savannah's not going to meet the same sort of punishment if the Shanshan come in because she's not a channeler.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
I was like, I don't want Savannah getting off.
Like she won't be a
Easy.
Damani, but
No.
she could be anything else.
Yeah,
There's a lot of other stations.
Property.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like Dakoval,
Within-
like
exactly.
you're just basically nothing and nobody.
Yeah,
So.
and so it's kind of like
Or
it's
yeah.
fitting. It's nice to know that she's not getting away scot-free, but
Yeah.
at the same time she's in the hands of someone who's equally as horrible. So this whole situation is horrible.
Well, the Shanshan like to put people in silk bags too until you just die. So
They do that.
you know that's an option too.
And this is like when the IL are like working, right? Like when the IL are good, this is the kind of thing that they would do, and these are the worst of the IL that Savannah was leading. So she deserves whatever's coming to her.
Yeah.
And
I'm not saying that I want to feel bad for Savannah
No.
because but anyways, we
Of
just kinda-
anyone here, Galina and Savannah, top of my list of terrible.
and it's I mean, when you are talking a lot about we don't get to see wins, we don't get to see our characters
This feels like a win.
It does feel like a bit of a win. Like Perrin is Faile back, Savannah is captured by Shanshan, whatever. It seems okay.
But in true Robert Jordan fashion, it's pretty bittersweet because it comes with a whole lot of other
a lot of stomach clenching details.
But what if we just don't think about that and just move on
and just go right to
okay?
I'll take the jewels in her tent.
That's Faile. Yes, exactly.
So good job, Faile. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I mean, you got to feed a lot of people, got to get them home. So
and
fair.
then Tylee's like, "This must be your lady wife," and Perrin's
yep.
like, "This is my wife.
My wife.
Wait,
my wife."
But can we talk about? There's a word that Faile uses. Did you pick up on this either? So she says,
"Oh, broken crown."
No, she
Something
says
about a broken crown.
she has a huge chest of jewels in there, and I want them. Don't look at me like a looby, Perrin.
A looby.
Oh, I've heard that, right?
What's a looby?
A looby.
Hakalubi?
Nope.
A loogie. That's a loogie.
Yeah.
A
I have
loobie's
no
like
idea
an
what a looby
idiot.
Loobie's
is.
like an idiot, yeah.
An idiot. A dummy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a
I've heard
crazy
of-
person or something?
Yeah, dummy.
Like, yeah.
Okay.
Like a knucklehead.
So this is a thing? Like this isn't like a...
It's like a term of endearment, though.
I want to say it's British. British people don't
But
cover
why?
me. I don't know, because they got crazy
It's a
gangster
term
stuff.
of
Yeah,
endearment.
but RJ's not British.
But Faile might be.
Saldaean. They say looby.
It's canon now.
Okay. Also, Brett, can you tell me what a broken crown is and why I have broken crown question mark in my notes?
Well, you should know that because that's like the Saldaean crown, and
It's broken?
that's what the title for it is.
The broken crown?
Yeah, we've got
I didn't
that
know
from
that.
the beginning.
I didn't know that. I didn't know it. Okay, thank you for telling me.
Yeah.
And also, are you looking up what a looby is?
Yeah. It's an awkward, clumsy fellow.
Oh,
Okay.
Okay.
That's just like,
It's very specific. It's actually more specific than I thought it would be.
Yes, it is. All right, now we're going to wrap up this perspective because we got a bunch of introductions, including the introduction to Alejandra, and Perrin is like, you can't have Gildan. And Alejandra's like, aw, thanks, Perrin. And Tylee's like, I can't make you that promise.
Yeah.
I only go where I'm told. Like, I'm literally just a general in this army.
And Perrin's like, haha, hands off, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I really hope I never have to fight you in battle because you're formidable.
Yeah.
You got a force. All right. And then we are going to end here with Perrin and Tylee shaking hands on a first name basis and parting ways with some level of respect for each other.
Yeah, and Perrin's like, whoa, strange world.
Strange world, because I thought I was making a deal with the devil, and turns out the Shanshan do a bunch of repugnant things like, slavery and keeping people as property. But at the same time, some of these people seem rather decent.
Yeah.
One thing I like about this is that she says, I have a little more experience with these people. They're not going to try and escape for 3 days.
Oh,
At
with
this
the
point,
whole,
everyone else knows that they're probably not going to follow those rules.
Yes,
but they're
the
like,
Shido, they suck.
yeah.
Exactly.
It's like, yeah,
They're
probably.
not regular Rael guys.
Yeah.
Well, hey, good luck with that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, see ya.
Yeah,
They're totally
okay.
going to do whatever you think.
Well, this is our cue for a quick break, and we'll be right back. Okay, that was relatively quick. We kind of did it.
The bar is so low.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm so glad we don't have to work tomorrow. This would be a disaster. Okay. Well, it is a Galina perspective. And let me tell you, I was so psyched for this.
Oh my goodness.
I was so excited to see this because if anyone forgot, I predicted Galina would not get away.
You did. You did.
Well, okay. In predicting, I was really hoping.
Right.
Yes.
I was hopeful she wouldn't get away, and I like when my predictions are right because that means I'm feeling happy.
Well, and this is the perfect example of like bad things happening to bad people by bad
Making
people.
us feel good.
You know what? We
Except
can take
no,
it.
Except no, though, because I'm feeling so hopeful. I'm feeling so good. Let's
About
get into
what?
it.
Okay,
About this
okay,
whole
okay.
situation.
All right, fair.
This is
fair.
exactly what we need to happen.
Yeah.
Exactly what we need to happen if it all works out.
Kind of not, though. It's also bad. But we can get into it.
Okay, but let's go. Let's figure out what she thinks.
Galina is
Yeah.
in the middle of changing into a riding dress because she's just about to make her escape here. And I think this might be the perfect time for me to bring up the whole hoax of riding dresses. Entire hoax. Every time I see the word riding dress, I think to myself, okay, here's a nation of people, a culture of people who do not embrace women wearing pants.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like, at all. Any woman who wears breeches, it's like unmodest and, oh my gosh, I can't believe she would do
You're
that.
a circus performer.
It's ridiculous.
essentially.
Or like men. We're like, oh my god, I can't believe you would wear pants. That's crazy. Women wearing pants is crazy. And then it's like, hey, what are those? Are those pants? And then someone was like, no. These aren't pants. This is a dress. These are skirts divided.
It's a right. Yeah.
It's just divided for riding a horse. But no, don't worry, guys.
Not
They're
pants.
still dresses. There's still a skirt.
Still a lady.
Not pants. Not pants. Not pants. Don't even worry. Don't even think about it. Don't even actually think about my divided skirts.
Yeah.
Definitely not pants. Don't think about them as pants.
Yeah. It's kind of
Which
like the fish with
it's like-
legs situation.
And
you
it's like, that's just pants.
So that's what pants
Those
are.
are just flowy pants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, okay. Glad I got that off my chest.
Okay, that was good.
I think about it all the time.
You know
all
what?
the time.
I don't know enough
All
about
the
dresses
time?
or pants.
Literally, I think about it every time I hear about divided skirts for riding. I'm like, those are just fucking pants.
How often do you hear?
All
okay,
the
it's not
time.
important. It's not important.
My life is this book. All the time.
Okay, yeah.
Literally every week
Yeah. Okay, that's fair.
of my life. Okay, now, here we go. She's about to change into her riding dress, but then she hears, "Stand as you are, Lena."
Dun dun down.
It's Thorava.
It is. Hooray!
It's Thorava. And Galina feels like she's about to scream, but then Thorava says, "Be silent." And then she has to like choke in her throat because she has to obey.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Now, because Galina was just changing,
Yeah, she's naked.
that puts her naked.
Yep.
And we got lots of naked Shido.
A lot of naked in this chapter, yeah.
Well, the comeuppance has.
Oh, how the turntables.
Oh, both of
Uppance
those
has
things.
come.
Yep. And then Thorava says, "Somehow you have the rod, or you wouldn't be here otherwise.
Right.
Give it to me." And then Galina has to.
Because she has to obey Thorava.
And then Thorava's like, "Well, you're going to be punished for taking off your jewelry." And then she forbids Galina from riding a horse ever again.
That's
Which is hilarious
wild.
because literally
That's the only
last
thing
chapter.
She was like, "I'm so happy."
She was. She just thought, like, oh, I'm so happy Thorava didn't forbid me from riding a horse so that I can escape.
Exactly.
This
Oh,
is a very
man.
good example of like a personal villain.
Oh,
like
yeah.
this, like Thorava's not threatening to anyone else in the
else.
entire book except Galina.
And Galina,
It's
like,
really specific.
we have a personal villain, and it's Galina.
yeah,
Galina
Right?
is the worst.
She's the box torturer.
Yeah.
That's
well,
what
and
they call
Galina,
her.
it's interesting because
She has
like
a calling
Galina's
card.
mind is racing too, and she's thinking the entire time right now, like there must be a way to get the oath rod back. Like
No.
I've lost now, but I can get it back.
No.
But then like now, no.
Yep.
Now, no.
The last
Because-
few options taken away.
Then
Yep.
she also says, "I forbade you from ever touching this rod ever again. Not just picking it up, whatever. Not rolling it onto your feet with your other foot and flipping it into the air and catching it." She says you can't touch it. So
Don't even touch
don't
it.
even
We're
think
done.
about it.
Which is interesting because had Galina just left without the oath rod and made it back to the tower, she could take the oath off probably
With the other one.
With the other one, because like
Probably.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Or
From
one
everything-
the Black Aja has too.
like we don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Like they must have something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'd have to assume that there's
You would have to assume.
And you'd have to assume she's already touched it.
Yeah.
Because she's obviously not under the three oaths. so-
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
So she knows there's other ways to break it. So she just left, hoping that eventually, like, she could get help from whoever Forsaken, that,
Yeah.
or even Alviarin. She goes to the tower, finds Alviarin, because we learn that she's actually on the Supreme Council, and we know Alviarin's on the Supreme Council too, or the head of it, right? So
yeah.
Well, doesn't she say she's partially paranoid because she's not sure if you need the same oath rod
yes,
to
Yes.
remove it?
100%, yeah.
Yeah.
So does that mean the
But
black?
I have to
the
say
Black
the
Aja don't
Black
have-
Aja one
Yeah.
would probably, whatever they have, because we don't know for sure if it's a rod or not yet at this point. Like, I don't know if it's like just oaths to the Dark One and then it's like random magic, or
they
if
use
it's
the same
actually-
one.
use the
They,
same
like,
one, 'cause
they
the oath
break
rod
the
is just
same
kept
one
in
out
the
or
tower,
something.
and nobody like pays attention to this stuff.
That's fair.
Okay, yeah. So definitely seems like she's paranoid about this specific oath
Yeah.
rod. She doesn't know the ins and outs, right?
It's one of those things like she had options and she didn't do the right thing.
Well, which is whatever.
Yeah.
At this point, because Galina sucks. So this is the big thing that happens here, because Thorava announces that they're returning to the Threefold Land.
Yeah. So, like, the Shido, as a people, we're going back, and we're going to send runners out to all the people who we can find.
This is the positive.
And we're going to sneak back.
No. She says send runners out and abandon your Guy Shine, your Wetlander Guy Shine.
Yeah, and sneak back to the waste.
Sneak back to the waste.
Sneak back. We're going back.
As stealthily as possible, which is honestly the best thing that can happen here.
Yeah, we're not causing any shit. We're not doing... We're just going to go back.
That's the best thing that can happen
We're
here.
rebuilding, and...
With the Shadow? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, some of the wise ones are like, oh, this is going to take generations. And Thorava's like, yep,
Yes.
probably. But, like, we're never leaving again. We are never leaving the waste
Goodbye.
again.
See ya.
But they're going back to the Threefold Land as the Shido, while all of the other Aiel are not there.
Yes.
Yeah.
To then go be the Shido again
Yes.
In the waste.
It's like
See ya.
literally
That's
never
not
going to
great.
work. But at least they're not terrorizing and capturing literal slaves.
It's the best thing for like the wetlands
Yes,
or whatever,
exactly.
for sure.
Well,
Yeah.
that's all I care about.
Yeah, that's fair.
So
I
there's
mean,
also...
it's bad that the enemy's getting away and then it's like, we will rebuild, you know?
So-
like
so
that's,
here's the
that's
thing
the
too.
part
No,
that
though. It's not just like the enemies getting away and it's rebuild. It's some of the enemy is getting away, abandoning a lot of the quote enemy ways and going to get back to just sort of what they know,
Yeah.
right?
But she's bringing Galina.
But, yeah.
Oh, which honestly doesn't irk me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you know what I think? Here's my prediction.
Okay.
Galina's getting rescued.
Really?
Yeah. Katarina, you know how she was rescued?
Yeah.
From whatever camp that was, where she was Kyrian, right?
Yeah.
I think that Galina's gonna get rescued.
Okay.
She's Black Eyed. I think she'll probably be tortured and probably die in the hands of
The rescuer.
the rescuer, right? In the hands,
So when you're saying, like,
in the-
rescued, it's like in
by
quotation,
Dark
like...
Friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dark Friends, Black Aja, Forsaken. She's not just gonna live. This isn't a Leandrin situation.
Where we just, like, never hear from her?
basically,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
Which is, and I feel like we did hear from Leandrin like maybe once or twice.
We
since
got like an
Mulgenian.
update. It wasn't going well for
And
her.
it wasn't going well. But I think that, yeah, I'm just feeling like this isn't quite the end.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Just on the whole Shido situation with them going back to the waste, there's like a bit of a misconception that I think some people sometimes have. So when the Aiel came out of the waste to come into the wetlands, not all the Aiel left the waste.
Yeah.
Like
It's
there's
not
still
abandoned. It's not like
it's
no
not an
one's
abandoned.
there.
It's not abandoned. There's still like it's still very heavily populated. It's just a
Which is
lot of
interesting,
the
yeah.
warriors came out.
Okay.
The Aiel are still in the waste.
Yeah.
So the Shadow going back, it's not like, oh, they're the only people left there now. It's not like
Yeah.
only the Shadow are here.
Yeah.
It's still full of Aiel.
Well, then Thorava's like, we're never leaving the Threefold Land ever again. And I was like, well, that's going to be your downfall because obviously worlds need to unite here at this
Not
point.
even for
but
vacation.
not even.
For a
Yeah.
bath.
Like nothing.
Not once.
Okay.
Nordic spa. Come on.
Mhm.
West Coast is good for like tanning.
Yeah, but then when Thorava tells Galina that she can't have the Oath Rod ever again, she also says, you'll never try to escape again.
Boom.
Oh.
There you go.
So,
Can't.
can't.
Man, that would have been a good one to say
So-
right away, huh?
So here's the thing. This is also a point I want to make to you. So remember when Egwene was like, hey, you have to personally swear to obey the things that I say? So that's one of the big things. It's like, you shouldn't have people swear to people magically on an Oath Rod. Because at the beginning, you were like, oh, I like that Egwene is
I
having
liked her
people do that.
leadership.
Yeah. But this is the fundamental
had-
problem.
She had
Chutzpah,
gusto.
you know?
She certainly had gusto.
That's the fundamental problem. Is like when people swear magically swear
They physically
to obey
can't do
people,
anything.
you physically can't
So
not
does
do
this
that.
mean, so if she's sworn to never try to escape again, even if like literally Semirog shows up and it says, let's go,
Why can't?
can Galina leave?
No, she's sworn to obey Thorava.
What if like Semirog wraps her up, although she's a whatever, let's just Masana, let's say,
Sure.
shatter her on, literally shows up, wraps her up magically and takes her away?
Yeah,
That's not Galina escaping.
that's true.
That's her being captured again in
Yeah,
a
that's true.
different
That's true.
capacity.
But recall that one of the Aes Sedai was when they were testing out the whole like how do the oaths work. When it was like, oh, tell me that.
Your skin's green or whatever.
Yeah. But it's like you can't. Then you literally like choke to death.
Yeah.
Like we had that with the in the
So
White
as
Tower.
long as
Yeah.
she doesn't interpret it as I'm escaping, she could go.
Yep.
Because
However
that's
she
the
can
thing,
convince her-
right?
Yeah.
That's about how your
It's
brain
your interpretation.
interprets it.
Yeah. It's like it's not impossible that she gets away, but it's like it's not good for Galina.
Yeah, she would have to be taken away or like escape. Like if
Like
Thrava
knocked
dies,
out and taken away.
yeah.
Yeah.
If Thrava dies, then she's got no one to escape from as well. Like there's other
That's
ways
true.
around it.
That's true.
Yeah. Well, and then again, it's like your interpretation. It's like, are you talking about like, I'm never gonna leave your body?
Yeah.
So
Anyway.
Yeah, I wasn't escaping. I was walking away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
no.
I
She
was just
interprets that
leaving.
as
I just
No, I
wanted
get
to
it.
run.
Yeah. But this does wrap up this chapter, and Galina is thinking, I'm Galina Kazban, highest of the Red Aja, who sat on the Supreme Council of the Black Aja, and I'm going to be Tharava's plaything for the rest of my life. She knows that now she's Tharava's little Lena, and something breaks inside of her. And that's the same sort of terminology that is used with the Shanshan.
Yeah, she's
when you're
done.
in captivity there.
She's done.
So the whole thing is disturbing and kind of crazy. And here we are.
Yeah.
In a moral and
Sucks by Galina.
ethical ambiguity nightmare.
Yep. It feels like a win, but then you think about it any
Don't
more
think
than
too
that.
much.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
don't think too much, and let's read the next chapter.
There
How
you
about
go.
that?
Yep.
Let's go.
I like that.
Let's just keep going.
Yeah, she earned whatever she got,
Honestly,
and we don't have to
No.
worry about her.
That's
and
true.
Tharava, honestly, isn't the worst of the people. You know what I mean? Like, if Galina was going to be a Damane or something
Sure.
like that, like, I would feel worse about that than this sub-hell.
Yeah,
I like the Shanshan less than I like Tharava, so...
and Tharava's obviously not great, and she's all these
terrible.
other things.
Awful.
But she's also sort of constrained by what she can make someone do.
Yeah.
And the Shanshan don't seem to have any constraints on how they treat their things.
No, none.
To the point where they can just like maim and kill them in front of people.
If they
and
wanted
it's-
to, yeah, exactly.
That's it.
Yep. All right. Well, thanks for joining us, Tyler.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
We had a lot of fun, but before you go ahead and finally find your wife,
My
wife! I'm going to say that this is part of the pattern now.
Yeah, it's part of the pattern.
Well, that's it for us tonight. Thanks so much for listening, everyone. The Wheel Weaves is hosted and edited by Dani and Brett and produced by Dani and Brett with Passion Socks, Cody Fouts, Benjamin, Michelle O'Brien, Jamie Young, Megan Smiley, Jared Berg, Ricky Morissette, Lance Barden, Charlie Haz, Adam, Marta Thier, Michelle Forbes, MKM, Antoine Benoit, Lawrence Bradley, Eric Reed, Colby T, and Gabby Young. With music by Audionautics. Be sure to check out our Patreon page if you're interested in supporting us on the podcast. We'd love to send you some Patreon exclusive merchandise as a thank you. Plus, you'll gain access to our episodes earlier than everyone else. And at the time of recording, we have over 45 bonus episodes for your listening pleasure. Find all that and more at patreon.com/thewheelweavespodcast. For general information about our show and information like how to send us shot glasses, how to join the Discord, or how to get in touch with us, visit thewheelweavespodcast.com. And as always, please be sure to give us a 5-star review because it really does make a really huge difference in helping other people find us. And tell a friend, Riyadh, because referrals really are the best compliment. Thanks so much for listening. This really is part of the pattern now.